All right, so we are recording now. I just put in the chat the Nearpod link, and so if you want to make sure you get on to that Nearpod, you do get participation points for that, and I kind of mark that down at the end there. So jump on there real quick. You can do it two ways: through the direct link that I'm sending in the chat right now, as well as just follow the instructions that are on the board, join.nearpod.com, and then put in that code CS3NV, and it'll get you to where we need to be. So, all right, I'm going to start sharing my screen though. So give me a second here. All right. Okay. So what we're going to do today, we're going to be going over two things. One, we're going to be going over ways to pay for college, and the second thing we're going to be going over is different financial institutions, namely just credit unions and banks and the difference between those two. So that's what we're going to be basically reviewing here today. I just want to let you know that this will be recorded for learning purposes, and others may view it for educational purposes as we're moving forward. Okay, virtual expectations as we go through. Just follow along as we go along throughout this Nearpod lesson. Raise your hand if you have a question. Sometimes I don't always catch the questions on the chat, so if you raise your hand, I can always scroll back through and find where your question was and answer that one. Respond at the first time for instructions, so there will be some things on the Nearpod that I'll want you to do and go over. So if you do that quickly, then it makes it nice and we don't have to wait for everybody. Just let me know you are away from your computer, and then also use the chat tool respectfully. Okay, so this is where we should be. You should have completed all the way through lesson 6 here. So you got basically quizzes 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So we still got a little bit to go, quite a bit, and I have built-in times. Like next week, I have built in kind of a week because it's so short. We actually won't be having a live lesson. It'll just give you time to kind of catch up on anything that you need to catch up on. So, or you can move ahead in this class like always. Okay, so feel free to do that. So one thing I want to talk about is it's called financial aid. Okay, so financial aid is something that can really help you out as you're going to school. School can be pretty expensive, and so as you're going there, there's some things that you'll want to know that you can get in order to go to school, and we'll go over all of those different options of how to pay for school. As we talked about last time, the discrepancy of income coming in regards to schooling is huge, right? The more schooling you have, particularly skills in certain areas that you can give, you're going to be so much better in life financially than you would be otherwise. Okay, so we're going to watch a little video real quick in regards to how this all works. All right, so that gives you some background as we go here. So what I want you to do in the near pod now is I want to ask you a question, and you put it in there and post it. It says, what college do you want to go to, and do you know how you're going to pay for college? Okay, so it's two questions. So on the little thing you want to put, yes, I want to go to, University of Utah, and no, I don't know how to pay for it, or so forth. Okay. If you, I'd like that. I'd hope everybody would want to go to a college, but if not, just some type of it, or the ATC. Perfect. That. So I want to go to the ATC, and I know how I'm going to pay for it. Awesome. So you seem to be set. I want to go to BYU, and I hope to get a scholarship to go there. Very good. I haven't decided, but I'm going to pay it by term, so I'm not in debt. Okay. So we'll talk about that. There's some things that are grants that you do not have to pay back that will help you with college. Okay. So then it wouldn't actually have you go into that. Okay. Not really looking to go to college. Okay. Well, hopefully you can think about something to get a skill in. I've been looking at Twilla Tech College. Very good. I don't know how to pay for it. Not 100% sure. Both. Already been awarded a full ride. Awesome to SUU. Great. That is where I'm going this fall. I'm going to go to AMDA. Very cool. Want to go to beauty school. Yep. Awesome. And I know how to pay for it. Perfect. I don't know what career I want to go to, but I would like to go to either USU or BYU, and I'm planning to get a scholarship or getting a part-time job. I don't know where I want to go to. I think, but okay, no worries. I understand it takes a little bit to decide. Like I didn't really know either when I was your guys' age. I'm not sure where to go to college. College is the best, but I wanted to get a scholarship. Okay, so there's different scholarships, grants, all that kind of stuff. That you can go and get, and basically somebody it's basically free to you, right? That will pay for it. So here's some typical arenas of where of how people pay for college. Okay, so 30% of them are paying through scholarships or grants. Relatives or friends paying 5%. Student borrowing. So somebody said, I don't want to go into debt. That about 16% of the people that go to college are borrowing. Okay. Parents borrowing is about 6%. Student income and savings. So and so basically they have a part-time job, they're saving and they're paying for it. And the 32%, oh man, I got cut off. I have no idea. I'd have to take a look at it. Sorry, guys. Yeah, that is cut off. Well, that kind of gives a little bit of a distribution, but yeah, that 32% is kind of a big area. So I'll have to find that out and let you guys know what exactly that 32% is. So sorry, guys. Sometimes I'm not the best. I don't know everything. So here's just some opportunities, okay? So you have grants. Now a grant is what you do, and I've got college grants when I was going first to school, is you submit an application, what's called a FAFSA application, and I'll kind of show you where to do that. And your counselors will be really good to kind of walk you through this process as well. So you submit a FAFSA, and depending on like income level and that kind of stuff, and I was just newly married, we didn't have any money and that kind of stuff, and so they gave me a grant. I think it was like $2,500 a semester to go to college that would pay for most of my classes. There was still some left over that I needed to pay for myself. And then I used the rest out of the work I did part-time. So I worked part-time, and then I went to school full-time. And so so that grant really kind of helped me out going there. Scholarships. There's a whole bunch of different scholarships. There's scholarships from the school, as well as private scholarships you can get. And they do take time to apply for them, but there's millions and millions of dollars every year that's handed out in scholarships, and some of it goes untouched because nobody applies for it. So if you look at the scholarships, look at that. The other one is student loans and borrowing. I've done that one as well. So there was time where we really needed just like that extra money to live as we were going to school, and we took out some student loans. I would suggest make that as one of your very least things that you need to go to, so you don't have to pay it back. Internships and fellowships, or sorry, federal work study. I apologize. That's next. So what they do is they'll get you into basically an advanced study area and submit you with a position where you would work there, and they would pay for your scholarship. Also, internships and fellowships are kind of the same thing. It's kind of you work at that thing, learn about the profession as you're going to school doing it. Institution waivers. So if you go and you actually work for the university as like a registrar or something like that at the university, they will waive part of your tuition, or sometimes all of it, depending on how much you work there, if you're working full-time or part-time. Employee benefits. So if you're working at a company, some companies will reimburse you your tuition as you're paying for it, or after you get your degree, if you stay for an extra so many years and it's worth to the company, they'll actually reimburse you what you paid for school, for your classes. And then the other one's veterans benefits. So if you join the military, there's, man, I think it's like up to $100,000 or something like that that you could spend getting your education and going to school that way. So that's some benefits that you could look at. Also, if depending on if your parents served in the military, they may be able to qualify to give you some of that benefit to their children. So you may want to look at that if your parents were ever in the military. Okay, so this is kind of the big catalyst for getting money, like starting out, figuring out what to pay. It's called FAFSA. It's just student aid. And so what you do is you go to the website and you start filling out the application. Some things is you must apply to every year that you're in college. You need to apply to that. And you need to, hold on, sorry. So you need to apply for every year to get more FAFSA money. It doesn't really reoccur. You can file October 1st of your senior year. So how many of you out there are seniors? Okay. Are very good. All right. So what you can do is you can actually go to this website now and start getting a FAFSA ID. If you're under 18, or actually, even if you're not under 18, if you're still in your parents' household, you'll need your parent there to help you fill it out, because it requires tax documentation from your parents in order to fill it out. The earlier you do it, the better, because there's more rewards available and you can kind of get them. So as I said before, I've got, when I got student loans, when I took those out, they were subsidized, which basically means interest didn't accrue on those loans until 6 months after I graduated from college. So that was really nice. Also, I said I got grants quite a few times to help pay for some semesters. And I've also received scholarship opportunities as well as I was going to school. So I was able to, the great part is I was able to pay for the school, and I actually had some money left over for living expenses to help us out as we were going to school. So there's a lot of things you can do if you know how to do it. So this is where you'll want to go. It's just called FAFSA.gov, and I would look to working with your counselor as well as your parents and everybody like that to fill out this application and possibly put a couple destinations you're looking at to go to college and see what rewards you gain back, right? It doesn't mean you have to accept those, but it would be good to start looking at, especially if you're a senior. This is what the website looks like. You just start a new FAFSA, create a PIN and stuff like that, so you can get started there. And then here's some more information about FAFSA and what you can get help on. Okay, the next section that we're going over is called financial institutions in comparison. So we're going to compare a couple things on here. What we're going to do is we're going to watch a little video that will describe all of these little aspects. All right. So I know that is a lot, but what I want you to do is we have on there, you can go and you can draw. So everybody has the ability to draw now. So if I go to the student version, let me just show you what it looks like here. It will give you tools to draw on there. So I want you to go and put how it's kind of split into here. What are the banks that you are aware of, and what are the credit unions? Okay, so banks that you know, and credit unions that you know. Okay, so if I were to put some up here, what I would do is I'd put, let's go black. Well, white's probably pretty good. I'm gonna do did my W weird. Wells Fargo, right? So Wells Fargo is a bank. I guess you could type in there too if you want. That'd probably be a little bit easier, wouldn't it? Than but everybody's gonna have their own little screen so I can see what they put. So I'm gonna give you a little bit of time. Let's do that in white. And then a credit union, I'm gonna put America First. Then you can just go down the line and list all the ones you can kind of think of. Okay. So give you some time to do that. Yeah, and try to list multiple if you can. And I'll kind of go back and see what everybody put. Looks like some people have put some already. Wells Fargo, Bank of America, America First, good. Somebody's starting to type out Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo, America First. Somebody's waiting there, waiting. U.S. Bank, very good. U.S. Bank, that's one. Yeah, I like how you tried to write on there. Wells Fargo, Zions Bank, good. America First. Mountain America, very good. State Bank, yeah, Bank of America, good. There's so many institutions out there. Chase, Zions Bank, America First, good. Zions Bank, Bank of Utah, good. Key Bank, DL Evans, I haven't heard too much about that. Elevate, yep. Alta Bank, good. Mountain America. All right, what's that? Bank of Utah, DL Evans Credit Union. Okay. All right, I'll give you a little bit more time so you can get some credit for writing stuff down. But it looks like you guys have most of you put some on there, so that's great. Okay. All right, so we're just going to move on now. All right, so here's some that you may have missed. Far West Bank, First Security, U.S. Bank, Zions Bank, Heritage Bank, Bank of Southern Utah, First Sun Bank. That's kind of an old one. Bonneville Bank, Far West Bank, Central Bank. So do you guys know the difference between a bank and a credit union? Any ideas? Okay, so a bank, they usually charge fees and stuff like that. Credit unions, you actually become members of it. Okay, you're a member of it, and so they usually have less fees and stuff, but they really form as the same function. But I do a lot of my banking actually through credit unions. I do have some big banks. Credit unions are usually more local. So America First is usually, I know they're a little bit in Nevada, Arizona, Utah. but I'm not sure they're that much far out of there. So I do a lot of my banking with America First. So if I were to go over some other place, they're not available, right? And so I also bank at actually Wells Fargo too, so I can have access to money as I'm going out and stuff like that. So there's a lot of different things that benefits to bigger organization banks that you can use, but I like to use my local ones actually a little bit better. That's just my preference. Okay, here's some things. When you go into a bank, you can get a checking or savings account. Checking accounts at banks, usually there's some monthly fee to it. There's a minimum balance you have to go into. You could have interest that accrues. So if you have so much money in the bank, they'll actually pay you to have that money in the bank. It's not a lot of money, but it's a little bit. Overdraft protection, ATM fees. Savings account, you also have a minimum balance. You also get interest there. Check writing, ATM fees, kind of stuff like that. Okay, I'm sure you're aware of a lot of it. Anyways, that kind of gives a brief overview. You'll learn more as you're going through your videos on your lessons. So I believe it's lesson 7 and 8 that you need to get through this week. And next week's kind of a catch-up week a little bit. I don't have anything due that week because we got the big Thanksgiving break coming up. So, all right, guys, that's all I have. I'm going to stop recording, but I will stick around if you guys have any questions or concerns moving forward.